started. I'd like to welcome everyone. My name is Vince Guglielmo. I'm Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Business Development at APMA. I'd like to welcome you all. And before we start, I'd just like to take care of one housekeeping item. If everyone can please mute your speakers or your microphones on your computers or on the phone that you're using to avoid any background noises. So today we're here to hear from our experts at BDC and EDC on coping with COVID-19 and how they can support us. Before we start, just like to say that there is a chat functionality of your menu item. If you click on that, you'll be able to, it should appear in the bottom right corner of your screen, and you should be able to type in questions and put them in there. And that's how we'll take care of the questions and answers after at the end of the session as a group. Just a little bit of background on APMA. We're Canada's national association representing OEM producers of parts, equipment, tools, and advanced technologies used in new vehicle production in Canada, North America, and globally. We've been around for over 68 years. And our function is to support our members and Canadian manufacturers to develop new business opportunities and to make things for us. We represent some 240 companies, which includes members of the Canadian Mold Makers Association and Automate Canada as well. Our industry last year shipped $35 billion Canadian of product, and we employed directly over 100,000 people. I'd like to take this time right now to thank our colleagues at BDC and EDC for their time and for their dedication to assisting Canadian manufacturers through this difficult period. And all times, we have a great working relationship with them, and we've done things together many times. And this is one of those times where we're glad that they're with us. So at this point, I'd like to take a second to introduce Marianne Winsler-Weeb. She's Vice President of GTA West for the Business Development Bank of Canada. Marianne looks after sorry, I'm reading it wrong. She leads a team of professionals dedicated to serving Canadian businesses throughout financing venture capital and advisory services with a focus on small and medium-sized enterprises. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Marianne. And Marianne, if you can take over, thank you.
That's awesome. So I'm also going to do this. So I'm looking for the presentation. So if my colleague can set that up, that would be great. Okay, and maybe not. Okay, sorry.
Okay, I'll screen share. There it goes.
There. Okay. All right, gotcha. Maybe you can just put it on the slideshow as well. That's awesome. So thank you so much for the opportunity to join you today. So this presentation is intended to give you an overview of the measures available to businesses through the federal government programs and BDC's initiatives intended to help the APMA members and SMEs weather the effect of the COVID-19 situation. And now, so to advance slides. So you know what? Yeah, let's do it that way. So before we get started, and I go through the relief programs as well for entrepreneurs, I want to just take a moment and introduce BDC. So BDC is the only Canadian bank devoted exclusively to entrepreneurs and is Canada's development bank. We complement the role played by private sector financial institutions, and our shareholder is the Government of Canada. BDC has been supporting entrepreneurs for 75 years across Canada in all sectors through 3 lines of business: financing, capital, and advisory services. We offer entrepreneurs uninterrupted access to capital from startup to exit, and this includes a full range of financing options for established businesses, as well as equity. So we're still on slide 2, perfect. As equity and venture capital for early startups and companies that want to scale. Our job is not only to lend money, our job is to provide the guidance and financial support entrepreneurs need to succeed. As we know, nothing is more important than the right advice at the right time, and that is through our advisory services. So these are extraordinary times. For many entrepreneurs, their income abruptly stopped or significantly reduced overnight. In our conversations with SMEs, the top 3 impacts to their businesses right now include: 1, the ability to keep employees on the payroll. All right, it wasn't that long ago we were concerned with labor shortages, and now we're worried about retention. 2, the ability to keep their businesses open. And 3, the ability to repay debt. So when I talk to entrepreneurs, 2 common themes come up. All right, so what can I do now that would have an impact through these challenging times, and which programs are best suited to my business? So, and we're going to cover that right now. So next slide, please. So here are 3 things we encourage business owners to do right now. All right, so first, focus on priorities, and that might be redefining what your priorities are. 2, plan your cash flow. As you start to make changes in the way you do business over the short term, there's going to be a corresponding effect on your cash flow. As you plan changes, take the time to understand the financial impact of these changes and develop a cash flow plan that reflects those changes. And 3, after you've revisited your short-term priorities and refined your cash flow, it's now time to estimate your working capital needs. Now, I get a lot of pushback at this around this. A lot of business owners say, how can I estimate my working capital needs? I have no idea what my revenues are going to be. So maybe we approach it a little differently and define what your bottom line cash requirements are, taking into consideration any shifts in your business. So for example, you might be retooling for different projects. And when you go through this exercise, it should tell you how much working capital you need over the next 3 to 6 months. From there, next slide. Okay, so from there, the next thing is to stay on top of all aspects of your business. With regards to your customers, communicate frequently, manage expectations during these uncertain times, and actively pursue collections. With regards to your people, review your staffing needs regularly and refine health and safety practices as required. With regard to your operations, align weekly and adjust accordingly, and maintain your KPIs to ensure you're optimizing resource usage. Okay, and then with your finances, update your cash flow plan weekly and be meticulous with invoices and disbursements. There's 2 main messages on this slide that I want to emphasize how important it is to monitor and communicate. So monitor and communicate with your customers, your suppliers, your employees, and of course, your lender. Next slide. So now we're going to move into an overview of the financing products available to SMEs. So we'll move on to the next one. Great. If you own a small business, then the Canada Emergency Business Account might be for you. Through this program, you can access up to a $40,000 interest-free loan delivered by commercial banks but guaranteed by the government to qualifying businesses. This $25 billion program for small businesses and not-for-profits is intended to help cover operating costs during a period when revenues have been temporarily reduced due to the economic impacts of COVID-19 virus. This will better position you to quickly return to providing services to communities and creating employment. Small businesses and not-for-profits should contact their financial institution to apply for these loans. It is an online process though, so visiting your bank's website is a great place to start. To qualify, these organizations will need to demonstrate they paid between $20,000 to $1.5 million in total payroll in 2019. So that's a recent change, all right, as announced this morning. So the government has broadened the qualifications there, just to take note of that. Repaying the balance of the loan on or before December 31st, 2022 will result in loan forgiveness of 25% up to $10,000. So this one online through your financial institution. We're getting feedback that response rates are pretty quick within a matter of a couple of days, and so that's one opportunity. With the expanded qualification, this should open up some opportunity. Next slide. Okay. And now the small and medium-sized enterprise loan and guarantee program will enable up to $40 billion in lending. This is going to be delivered through the banks. BDC and EDC play a role in supporting this financing. Eligible companies could obtain up to $12.5 million through these two lending streams. The first is a co-lending program for small and medium-sized enterprises. Under this stream, BDC is working with financial institutions to co-lend term loans to SMEs for their operational cash flow requirements. The risk is shared on a shared basis, 80% for BDC and 20% for the financial institution. Eligible businesses may obtain up to $6.25 million through this co-lend, $5 million maximum from BDC and $1.25 million from the house bank. The financial institutions will conduct the due diligence, underwriting, structuring, and funding directly for customers. The reason why we want to do it this way is to simplify the process for entrepreneurs to access capital. In order to be eligible, businesses must have been impacted directly or indirectly by COVID-19 and have been financially viable prior to the impact of COVID-19. So businesses interested in finding out more about this should contact their house bank, their financial institution. EDC is involved in the second stream of the program, and I'm going to let my colleague, Mike Brownhill from EDC, give you more details on that shortly. Next slide. Okay, so in the event, after accessing all the government programs along with BCAP, if there's still, after those have all been utilized and there's still a need, there's other options as well. BDC is offering up to $2 million in a working capital loan with very flexible terms and conditions, such as capital postponements. These funds are available to supplement your line of credit and for a variety of business needs as well. So there's other options available to entrepreneurs beyond BCAP, and but the first and foremost is probably the BCAP program and the CEBA line. So next slide, please. So how do we get started? Okay, and we've talked already about a number of programs today, and we hope that they'll provide you with the information and some resources to support your business. The one thing I want to stress is it's not a one-size-fits-all, but we hope that there's enough here to help sustain you through this crisis. The best place to start is with a conversation with the commercial banker of your house bank. All right, they're the ones that know your business, they know you, and can provide you valuable advice about what next steps look like. Now, BDC and EDC have a long history of working together to support Canadian SMEs. The relationship has evolved over the years, and I know we work very closely with each other, finding the best solutions to serve entrepreneurs. Next slide. We're equally as pleased to see financial institutions from across the country and the Government of Canada working hand in hand to support more entrepreneurs through this crisis. So this is the Government of Canada's COVID-19 website. I would suggest that you visit this website frequently to stay up to date on whatever programs are available or enhancements to the programs. There's a lot of valuable information here as well. So again, CEBA program in summary, the BCAP through your chartered bank as well, tapping into EDC and BDC resources. There's a BDC working capital COVID loan as well, and the Government of Canada website. So thank you. At this point, I'll transition it back to you, Vince, and we'll go on to Mike.
And just to close out on what Marianne said, in terms of the website she was referring to, those links to their websites, to EDC, to BDC, the various Government of Canada websites for assistance and support for businesses and for individuals, including Service Canada, for unemployment applications, etc., are all on APMA's page. If you just go to our homepage at www.apma.ca, it's one of our photos right in the middle. The first thing you see, just click on there. It's got government supports, and it's connected in our e-news and such that we keep mailing out every Thursday. Okay, so now we'll move over to EDC. So I'd like to introduce Mike Brownhill. Mike joined EDC in 2000. He currently works as principal in EDC's global trade team with a focus on manufacturing applications across multiple industries, including automotive and forestry. And he is serving as secondment as a senior account manager now at EDC's Ontario Sales Group to help support their needs in this time right now in the COVID-19 pandemic. So let me turn it over to Mike, and if we can get Mike's slides up. Mike?
Great, thanks, Vince. Eyal, are you going to put them up, or should I just try and share from my end? Great, thank you very much. So moving past the header slide, just quickly going into the EDC presentation. And there we go. So at EDC, our mission is to help companies go, grow, and succeed. This has been our goal for a number of years. EDC is now in its 75th year of operations and has been growing greatly in that time. And a few years ago, we really struck to this new mission statement where we really are there to help companies go, grow, and succeed. Right now, that might mean something different given the COVID-19 crisis, but it is our overarching goal. EDC is a, sorry, next slide. EDC is a national organization, just like BDC, and we have offices spread across the country. Of course, the focus here being the Ontario manufacturing sector. We do have people based in London, Windsor, Kitchener-Waterloo, and multiple offices in the GTA as well as in Ottawa. So EDC is serving locally through account managers, and there is some financial services managers in the regions as well. Moving on to the next slide. So EDC has really 4 core areas of operations. These continue unabated during this financial crisis of COVID-19. And these are the main areas in which we support Canadian exporters. So via our financing programs, EDC offers support for relationships with commercial banks via guarantees to help increase credit lines, or via other solutions to help bolster the bank's ability to provide working capital collateral to support letters of credit or other security requirements. Beyond that, we also provide financing support for Canadian companies who are looking to fund working capital or foreign acquisitions for their foreign operations. EDC has been well known for a number of years for our credit insurance offering, and the credit insurance remains available through these trying times on either a portfolio or selective basis, both of which can be acquired and served through the edc.ca website as an online platform. And we have recently reviewed and continue to offer our advanced payment insurance, which is an insurance program that is designed to help companies who have to lay out extra capital in form of deposits on new manufacturing equipment to take away some of the risk of the upfront outlays. Beyond this, in the last few years, EDC has made a concerted effort to expand our offerings in both the knowledge and connections areas. In terms of knowledge, EDC has put together a full suite of offerings on our website of available webinars, conferences, seminars, use cases, and the like to help Canadian companies become better informed about global opportunities. On the connections side, EDC continues to work in conjunction with the Trade Commissioner Service and our international network of strategic foreign customers to help create new trade opportunities for Canadian companies. On the next slide, please. EDC is here to support and protect Canadian companies. We're here to do it in good times and the bad. We have a role to play in responding to our current economic crisis as a part of the Team Canada approach, as Marianne laid out earlier. So EDC is following the evolving trajectory of the pandemic very closely, is in regular communication with our customers, partners, including financial institutions and private credit insurers, as well as the Government of Canada. We continue to monitor the impact of on the global economy, and particularly Canadian exports. Next slide. So EDC brands ourselves as international risk experts, and in that we are here to help during these exceptional times. We're here to help offer advice as well as insurance and financial support to companies of all sizes. We've been doing this since 1944, and times like now of global uncertainty have made our job clearer than ever. We've been active in years past in other financial crises, including the 2008-2009. EDC was there at that time to provide targeted, focused support to many industries, including the auto sector. We're happy to be here again to provide similar support this time around. In the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, much like in the 2008-2009 crisis, our mandate has been broadened to assess domestic businesses as well as exporters through these challenging times. Next slide, please. Now, with respect to COVID-19, EDC has made some changes to its existing programs, which I'll highlight as follows. Next slide. So across our existing lines of business, we made some important changes to the export guarantees, credit insurance, financing, and claims operations. For guarantees to support extra working capital, we're providing additional working capital support for existing guarantee programs, and we're providing temporary liquidity injections via fee deferrals on certain programs, as well as those that qualify under the BCAP Guarantee, which I will cover shortly. For those companies using credit insurance, existing customers have the possibility of having premium payments deferrals on a case-by-case as-needed basis, and we are providing increased risk appetite on credit-worthy counterparties so that companies are able to take on additional work while their counterparties might be a bit slow in paying out the current bills. For our financing clients, we're providing payment deferrals up to 6 months on principal and interest for companies to provide liquidity relief to Canadian companies. And lastly, on the claim side, under our credit insurance policy, we are temporarily waiving the period for claims so that companies can file and receive their claim payments earlier, enabling easier access to funds. It's important to note that for the changes mentioned for insurance and claims, that these apply only to EDC's export policies, not to those policies where we are partnered with a domestic private sector insurer, COFAS. So on your EDC insurance policies, those are available options. Next slide, please. In terms of under BCAP, as Marianne mentioned, she covered off the offerings of BDC, and she talked as well about CEBA. So my area of focus here would talk about what EDC is doing to support SMEs through the BCAP Guarantee program. As mentioned already, we are able to support facilities up to 6.25 million Canadian, and as mentioned already, the goal is to provide upwards of up to $20 billion of support. So on to the next slide, please. So much like Marianne mentioned, this program has been designed and created to respond to COVID-19 related liquidity challenges. It is a guarantee program that is intended to support companies who need assistance covering their basic operating costs, including items such as rent and payroll. The guarantee is intended to help a financial institution help clients get access to additional credit. It provides EDC's balance sheet and our AAA rating to support a financial institution on a new credit facility to provide incremental emergency liquidity. It cannot be used to top up an existing facility. It must be done as a second or secondary or extra facility on top of existing credit facilities. Next slide, please. So much like Marianne's example for BDC, to get access to EDC's BCAP guarantee, the best course of action is to start having a conversation with your financial institution's account manager. Much like the BDC scenario, the decisions on granting the loans are made via the financial institution as we have delegated that authority to them. Clients will work with their financial institutions to determine what solution is a good fit for their business. And as mentioned earlier, with the suspension of our export requirements, all Canadian businesses are eligible for the BCAP guarantee. And the next slide, please. Okay, so I actually, in my version, pardon me, have a supplemental slide with a bit of extra detail. So I'll give a few more features on the BCAP guarantee. So the BCAP guarantee, as mentioned, is for facilities, either operating line or cash flow term loans, up to a maximum of 6.25 Canadian. It is important to note here that we are able to support BCAP guarantees only in Canadian dollars, no US dollar facilities. As Marianne mentioned, this is for companies that were pre-COVID intended to be credit-worthy entities, and again requires risk sharing with the bank on the new facility. The banks will be the ones governing the application process, including the online application forms. There is, for EDC's participation in these, we have decided to go with a fixed rate pricing on the guarantee amount of 1.8%. And that is, again, eligible for the 6-month EDC payment deferral on the fees. It is intended to support 1-year facilities, and there is a mechanism in place at the end of that to potentially renew for a 2nd year. So those are available details on EDC's existing BCAP guarantee. Now, if you have any other questions or information, or searching for information, I would encourage you to look on edc.ca. From the main page, there is immediately a link to our COVID-19 response tab. You can go and read more information there about the various offerings, approved financial institutions for the BCAP, for our guarantee program, many of whom are also becoming approved for the BCAP guarantee, as well as have access to our other financial offerings via the website. The final slide, please. So if you have any information, any further questions, the information up there is the contact number for our trade advisory group. They serve as an intake stream for new companies looking to deal with EDC. If you already have an existing account manager, please reach out to them, or alternatively, you can please contact either myself or me through Vince. I've happily taken a few referrals from the APMA in the last few days and would be pleased to speak to anybody else who is in need of assistance. Vince, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mike, and thank you again, Marianne, for your presentations and for the time you put in. There's a wealth of knowledge and support